Welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Sensitization of students to a healthy and responsible use of digital technology. And on the international scene, Africa notes its World Cup opponents, Qatar 2022. Welcome back to our newsroom, our blood viewers. Before we start the news, I, the Regi team, and the whole RTD team wish you a blessed Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem. Back to the news, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, is receiving these days, as he does every time the blessed month of Ramadan approaches, messages of good wishes from his fellow heads of state and government of brotherly Arab and Muslim countries. In their telegrams, the Muslim leaders all expressed wishes for the well-being and health of the President of the Republic and for more progress, development, and prosperity for the Djiboutian people. May the Most High continue to surround Djibouti with His barakah so that it remains a heaven of peace and tranquility. Read some of these messages received by the head of state. Other telegrams welcome the positive transformation recorded in Djibouti and its efficient and leading role as a relay in trade in this part of the world. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, have also sent similar messages to his counterparts at the advent of the blessed month of Ramadan. In these telegrams, the head of state expressed success and achievement to each of his peers, wishing more prosperity and fulfillment to their respective peoples. May the Merciful accept our wish for a world at complete peace with itself and where differences in culture and religion are seen as signs of richness and complementary and not as source of tension and conflict, the head of state also noted in each of the messages sent to his counterparts in the Muslim world. Day 1 of Ramadan, the month of fasting for all Muslims, has begun. In Djibouti, as in the rest of the world, the capital was bathed today in a calm atmosphere and serene conditions that illustrated the values of this holy month of Ramadan. After 2 years of pandemic and health restrictions, the population will be able to celebrate this period again according to traditions. Today, the population has rushed into the markets to do their shopping, a tradition that is usually accompanied by a commercial frenzy in the market of Riyadh. For example, for traders, it is the best time of the year because an economic dynamic ensues the population. The first day was synonymous with the Ramadan ever seen. This year, the government, through its Ministry of Commerce, has ensured the availability of goods. Facing the frenzy of purchase during this month, the supply will not experience problems, given that all measures have been taken by officials within, in particular the storage of sufficient quantities of foodstuffs of first necessity, and especially curb the unjustified price increases during the month of definition for the population. Ramadan is the religious hemisphere. It is the district love of the world and beings. It is the mysterious and unpredictable feeling given to each person. It is also a ritual that always offers families the opportunity to exchange visits and to excel in the cultural art, to engage in solidarity actions, to help needy families who manage with great difficulty, to make provision to ensure a dignified meal. May this blessed month be synonymous with a special moment of spiritual revelation for all, and refreshment in family, of union between friends, and cavalry always open to other, in particular to the foreigner who knocks at our door, will also find in place offered. Moving on to the Ministry of Labor, in charge of colonization and social protection, Mr. Omar Abdi Said is currently participating in the work of the Third Regional Ministry for Migration on the harmonization of labor migration policies. The ministry was accompanied on this occasion by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Algeria, Mr. Mohamed Abdi Said, who is currently participating in the Third Regional Ministry of Foreign Migration on the harmonization of labor migration policies in the East and Horn of Africa region, organized by the IOM Regional Office in Nairobi, Kenya from 28 March to 1 April 2022. On this occasion, the minister was accompanied by an important delegation composed of senior officials from the Ministry of Labor, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and the Ministry of Interior. The Minister of Labor delivered a speech in which he highlighted the major efforts taken to undertaking the improvement of governance of migration in Djibouti, including the adoption of the national strategy for the engagement of the Destrewa in the February of 2021. He stressed that Djibouti is fully committed to the regional integration to meet the challenge of a globalized world by aligning itself with the IGAD Protocol on free movement of people in the Djibouti Declaration of Labor, Employment and Labor Migration, signed by the 7 Ministers of Labor and Employment of the sub-region on October of 2021. Following the example of the rest of the world, Djiboutians also use the new information and communication technologies. The use of the internet is intended today. A tool is within everyone's reach. This tool of knowledge can also be a source of nonsense for our youngest, daily exposed to digital tools but often unaware of the risk involved in their practices. Young people are potential targets without being aware of it. They tend to trust their virtual intercallers blindly and to deliver large amounts of information without considering that it could be exploited for bad purposes. And this is increasingly charging digital world. Our young people never needed condoms more than ever. It is in this sense that the ANSI of its acronym in French, the National Agency of State Information Systems, in collaboration with the MENFAB, organized as part of its awareness activities a one-week tour in schools. From the state high school, so that the Gabot and League throughout the high school of Balbala and Hodanfo in the town of Balbala, to finish with the high school of PK12. It is a total of 6 high schools that took part in this awareness campaign of digital tests. ANSI experts explained to these students how the internet, which is intended as a source of knowledge and research, can also have a dark side and therefore a danger. The addiction of young people to social networks such as TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. But even more so, the easy access to websites with explicit and malicious content that can harm youth. The principal of Gabon High School congratulated this initiative of the agency, which comes at the right time because according to him, high school students are just tapping their phones and increasingly present on social networks, and this is a danger according to him for these students. Thanks to this awareness, high school students have understood that the internet have advantages but also disadvantages for their lives and their schooling, he concluded his remarks. For his part, the Director General of the ANC, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Ismail, said that his department wished to challenge with lightness high school students to ask themselves how they interact with the digital and the consideration of the subject of digital security management while making them discover the best practices to adopt to use the internet wisely. The Directorate of Land Management, Urban Planning and Housing conducted last Thursday a campaign of control of construction in different areas of the capital, including the subdivision of Barwago 2 in the town of Balbala. This campaign is part of the implementation of regulatory provisions of development, including the order of 4th April 2015 on the procedure for the instruction and issuance of building permits. It is above all an awareness of our fellow citizens on the interest and importance of compliance with the rules for the physical safety, and this is to prevent any risk of accident and collapse. In case of present non-compliance with the legal and regulatory texts in force in our country, the services of the Directorate of Land Management, Urban Planning and Housing will be obliged to undertake repressive measures against any violence. Moreover, all illegal constructions are poorly and simply demolished. Finally, the Directorate of Land Management, Urbanism and Habitat remains at the entire disposal of our citizens for any further information. As usual, and faced with the real need, the Djiboutian Coast Guard, under the leadership of its commander, Colonel Waes Omar Bogore, has invested massively to carry out its traditional operation of blood donation at the hospital of Dar al Hanan. Thus, 200 Coast Guard officers volunteered to donate their blood to save the lives of their compatriots who would be in a serious situation. Colonel Waes Omar Bogore, commander of the Coast Guard, who supervised the operation in the presence of the authorities of the Dar al Hanan hospital, transmitted the necessary directives to the chief medical officer of the Coast Guard to observe the perpetuation of this blood donation operation in the future. This operation of blood donation will have a positive impact on the availability of transfusion for pregnant women who need transfusion during childbirth. The Coast Guard continues to provide support to our country's vulnerable citizens, and this blood donation operation carried out every 2 or 3 months indicates the degree of involvement and the strong determination of the Coast Guard Command to remain mobilized in all sectors where the need of the Djiboutian population will be felt. At the headquarters of the Civil Protection on the road to Arta was held this morning a closing ceremony of training to trainees under officers Djibouti for 2 weeks. Attended this ceremony the young recruiters of the Civil Protection of non-commissioned officers and officers of this institution, of which about 15 could benefit from this training of 2 weeks provided by an officer and a non-commissioned officer of the Fire Department. The military advisor of the French Embassy, Colonel Laforge, explained the importance of the training of trainees in Djibouti. The Director of Civil Protection, Colonel Mahmoud Moussa, thanked the Paris Fire Department and the French cooperation in his speech. Just after the ceremony of the closing event regarding the training of the civil protection trainees, 95 students from the private school La Lumière arrived on the scene. The students visited the premises of the civil protection and wore for a few minutes the helmets of the firemen and also saw the working materials and finally went up in the big vehicle and ambulance. The international scene, the African teams finally know their opponents, except one. For the 2022 World Cup to be held in Qatar, big games, reunions, and a taste of revenge for the first exception in the Middle East. Other reunions for the Sadio Mane as Senegal will play its first game of Group A against the Netherlands. Virgil van Dijk, Monday, November 21, can the Liverpool control tower get the better of his teammate and avenge Mo Salah. The African champions will also have to face the host country, Qatar and Ecuador, to have any hope of progressing past the first round. Well, by this hour, beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening and thank you once again for joining us.